Chosen one, this message is reaching you because something has already shifted in the unseen, and your spirit recognized it before your eyes could confirm it. God is funding your life now. Not later, not eventually, not when everything finally makes sense, but now, right where you are standing. And because of that, the season of worry you've been living under is beginning to dissolve. You may not yet see the full manifestation, but you can feel the difference in your body, in your thoughts, in your breath. The weight that once pressed on your shoulders is growing lighter. The emotional heaviness you carried for so long is loosening its grip. The constant pressure to figure everything out on your own is slowly lifting. This is not imagination. This is recognition. The atmosphere around you is changing, and your soul knows it. God is replacing self-effort with divine provision, anxiety with assurance, and exhaustion with supernatural support. You were never meant to fund your destiny with fear, overthinking, or relentless striving. And now something holy is stepping in. A divine supply chain has been activated, one that does not run dry, does not depend on human systems, and does not require explanation. You are being carried by provision, protected by divine order, and surrounded by overflow that doesn't fluctuate. Even if your outer world still looks familiar, your inner world is already adjusting to a new truth. You are no longer alone in the responsibility. The heaviness you normalized was never permanent. It was a signal that you were carrying more than your portion. And now, that burden is being lifted. God is funding your life, not only financially, but emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. You are breathing different air now. The shift has begun, and the old rules no longer apply. In this moment, you are being invited to pause, not because progress has stopped, but because alignment is happening. Take a breath and allow yourself to settle into the awareness that you do not have to force what is already being released. This season is not about pushing harder. It is about receiving deeper. Alignment produces what effort never could. When you stop striving internally, you create space for divine response. Let the urgency that once drove your thoughts soften. Let the tension you've been carrying ease. You are not falling behind by resting here. You are catching up with what heaven has already put in motion. When you believe, when you speak, when you write, when you intentionally agree with what is unfolding, something responds. Words spoken from belief carry weight. Intention aligned with truth activates movement. This is why this moment matters. Stay with this message, not out of obligation, but because something in you recognizes it as confirmation. Watch until the end, because your spirit is syncing with a frequency that restores trust and expectancy. Write your wishes, not because they are fragile hopes, but because articulating them signals readiness. Type 555 not as a ritual, but as a declaration that you are open to receiving instead of striving. This is not a pause in your life. It is a realignment within it. The energy you hold and the intention you release are not passive. Today, you are aligning with provision, ease, and support instead of fear and scarcity, and that alignment activates response. You didn't arrive at this moment by accident, and you didn't arrive without cost. You've walked through seasons that demanded quiet endurance, long nights where no one saw your tears, moments where you had to keep going without encouragement, stretches where it felt like you were carrying more than your share while others seemed untouched by the weight. You learned how to stand when support disappeared, how to give when your own reserves felt low, how to believe without evidence. There were sacrifices no one applauded and decisions no one understood. Times when doors closed without explanation, when calls didn't come, when progress felt invisible. And yet, you stayed. You continued. What you didn't realize then was that God saw everything. Every moment of patience, every act of restraint, every choice to keep your heart open instead of hardened was seen. The silence you endured wasn't neglect, it was shaping. The waiting wasn't punishment, it was preparation. You weren't being delayed because you weren't ready. You were being strengthened because what was coming required depth, stability, and trust. Even when it felt like you were being overlooked, you were being protected from arriving too early. Nothing about your struggle was wasted. Every lonely moment, every unanswered prayer, every season of endurance became part of the foundation for what you're stepping into now. Now hear this clearly. The green light has been given. Doors are opening ahead of you, some of them before you even realize you're approaching them. Resources that once felt restricted are no longer being withheld, and the provision being released now goes far beyond survival. God is not simply making sure you get by. He is releasing what will sustain you, elevate you, and surround you. The season of anxiety that once dominated your inner world is closing, and ease is beginning to replace strain. This provision extends beyond money. It includes favor that goes ahead of you, ideas that unlock opportunity, protection that reroutes harm, and connections that feel divinely assigned. You are stepping into a phase where things don't just work out, they line up. What once required exhausting effort now unfolds with surprising smoothness. You're not forcing doors open anymore, you're walking through doors that were reserved with your name on them. You weren't forgotten. You weren't being punished. You were being prepared for provision that cannot be cancelled. The season where you were simply trying to survive was never meant to be permanent. It was a training ground. Survival forged discernment, patience, and resilience in you. It taught you how to endure without bitterness and how to hope without guarantees. It didn't feel like growth at the time. It felt like barely making it. But now that season is giving way to abundance, and abundance is emerging directly from what you learned in scarcity. God is not erasing your past. He is using it to fund your future. The endurance you developed during waiting is now becoming the strength that carries overflow responsibly. This is not about reward for effort. It is about alignment with identity. You are not being funded because you finally did enough. You are being funded because of who you are. A chosen one, a carrier of assignment, someone entrusted with purpose that requires divine support. Scarcity taught you stewardship. Waiting taught you trust. And now, abundance is rising, not to distract you, but to empower you. Survival is no longer your portion. Provision is. Now, chosen one, pay attention to the subtleties of how things are beginning to align around you. There's a familiarity in the way opportunities, people, and moments converge, as if your soul recognizes them before your mind can fully comprehend. That is alignment. It is not coincidence. It is the intentional orchestration of heaven meeting your life at exactly the right moment. What once felt like delay is now a disguised shortcut. What once seemed like silence is a space for preparation. You were never late. You were never out of sequence. No system, no human error, no unexpected circumstance, no detour can alter what God has pre-approved. You were pre-approved long before you understood it. This is why what feels like stillness is actually divine tension, the stretch that precedes breakthrough, the pause that ensures precision, The timing is exact. The resources are ready. The doors are waiting. Even if what you see now doesn't fully reflect it, provision is already moving toward you. The universe is responding to alignment, and you are standing in it. Every interaction, every whisper of inspiration, every open door will feel familiar because it was always meant to happen. And when it arrives, peace will accompany it. The delays were never denials. They were calibrations. What looks like absence is actually preparation. God's funding cannot be cancelled. It cannot be stopped. It cannot be delayed past the moment He designed for you. This is why you can release worry. This is why you can breathe deeper. What is coming is irreversible. It was written before the beginning, and now manifests with supernatural precision. Understand, chosen one, that when God funds your life, it is never just enough. His provision is designed to overflow. It is designed to flood your life with peace, stamina, clarity, and confidence that do not rely on circumstance, strategy, or human systems. The source is not a job, a paycheck, a platform, or an opportunity. The source is God. When He steps in, the multiplication defies logic. What seems impossible becomes normal. Timing may appear unconventional, but it carries divine intentionality. The inner transformation is always first. Your perspective, your trust, your peace, your stamina, they expand before the external evidence arrives. The shift you feel internally is the signal that heaven's provision is already active. And once it begins, it cannot fail. You will notice the subtle but undeniable difference in your reactions, your thoughts, and your decisions. You start to walk differently, think differently, and rest differently. Provision in this season does not rely on your hustle. It does not demand proving. It does not require you to overextend or exhaust yourself. It arrives quietly, consistently, and powerfully, and it transforms not only what you have, but how you operate in every circumstance. Divine funding is holistic. It is abundant. It is unstoppable. Soon, you will begin to see unmistakable evidence in your daily life. It may start small, a bill paid just in time, a call returned unexpectedly, a door that seemed locked, opening without explanation. But these small confirmations will accumulate until they become undeniable. Divine assistance will feel normal. You will stop micromanaging, stop forcing outcomes, stop exhausting yourself, trying to make everything work. Stress will fade. Anxiety will release its grip. You will notice things falling into place without effort, and you will recognize that this is not luck, coincidence, or human calculation. It is divine orchestration. What once felt like scarcity or limitation now appears as preparation for a higher order. As these moments accumulate, trust replaces control, and you begin to walk in awareness of the unseen hands guiding your life. Provision begins to feel seamless because it is being executed by a system that never fails, never tires, and never withdraws. Your small daily experiences become markers of a much larger, eternal movement in your favor, and every confirmation strengthens your alignment with what is already being released for your life. Now, chosen one, you are entering a new rhythm. The hustle that once defined your days gives way to flow. Effort is replaced by ease. Fear diminishes and confidence rises naturally. You no longer scramble, overextend, or exhaust yourself trying to force what is already being released. Rest is no longer optional. It is part of the rhythm of provision. You move from reactive living into proactive alignment with divine timing. Grace drives your pace, not desperation. You begin to notice clarity replacing confusion, momentum replacing stagnation, and energy replacing fatigue. Every step is deliberate, every decision aligned with a force greater than circumstance. This rhythm is funded. It carries momentum without burnout. It allows for creativity, clarity, and courage to thrive. You are no longer trapped in cycles of survival. You are walking in the flow of abundance that has been carefully orchestrated for you. The new rhythm is evidence that God's hand is not only present, it is active and precise, and it is reshaping your life from the inside out. As this new rhythm settles, others will begin to notice without explanation. People will see the change in your presence, your confidence, your peace, and your assuredness. You will not feel compelled to explain yourself because the evidence speaks louder than words. Fruit confirms the source. Outcomes validate the strategy. Silent authority and spiritual presence become your markers, and the world recognizes what your words cannot yet articulate. Those who once questioned your path will now witness your success and wonder, but you will not need to justify it. You will walk quietly, confidently, and graciously, knowing that what they see is a reflection of heaven's design, not your effort. The shift is internal and external. Your energy, your influence, your opportunities, they now reflect divine favor. The provision of God is not just personal. It is public in the sense that it moves others to acknowledge the transformation without requiring explanation. You are living proof of alignment, preparation, and divine sponsorship, and the world cannot deny what God has authorized in your life. Chosen one, as God funds your life, your influence expands and your capacity increases. Doors that once seemed impossible to open now swing easily at your touch. Tasks that once drained you now flow with unexpected speed and precision. Opportunities that previously required compromise or overextension are now met with clarity and confidence, allowing you to say yes to what aligns with your purpose and no to what does not. Spiritual authority rises within you, granting discernment to navigate people, moments, and decisions with divine wisdom. Every action, every step, every interaction is increasingly executed under heaven's strategy rather than human strain. What once required hustle now requires alignment. What once demanded effort now requires faith. You are entering a season of heaven-sponsored execution where provision and opportunity converge, creating momentum that multiplies itself. This expansion is intentional, tailored, and unstoppable. You are no longer limited by human constraints. God is stretching your reach, accelerating your influence, and equipping you to accomplish far more than you could imagine. Now understand this. You have been promoted from self-made to God-backed. The shift is permanent and total. Opportunities no longer need to be chased. They are magnetized toward you. The right people are assigned to your journey, not persuaded, not manipulated. They are divinely positioned to collaborate with your destiny. The vision within you is being funded at the appointed time with sacred precision, and every detail is orchestrated for impact. Provision is no longer scattered or fragmentary. It is comprehensive, exact, and unstoppable. You do not need to stretch, hustle, or argue your case. Doors open before you even knock. Your assignments are honored and activated by heaven itself. This sponsorship is deep, intentional, and irreversible. You are being lifted into a reality where divine legitimacy carries every step. Every release, every grant, every favor is purposeful, confirming that God is not simply blessing you. He is backing you fully, permanently, and publicly. With this divine sponsorship comes a profound shift within. Your thoughts move from panic to wonder. Where you once fretted over scarcity, confusion, or loss, you now pause in amazement at the orchestration of heaven. Ease replaces struggle, trust replaces anxiety, expectancy replaces doubt. You begin to notice an internal stability that does not depend on external conditions, a calm that persists even when circumstances appear uncertain. Gratitude rises naturally, not forced, and confidence becomes rooted in the frequency of divine provision rather than in the validation of men. Every challenge, every detour, every previously overwhelming moment now serves as a platform for discernment, clarity, and growth. Your emotions, your reactions, and your daily decisions are all being transformed by awareness that the source of your life, your work, and your mission is infinite, reliable, and present. You are stepping into a new consciousness, one that walks in wonder, receives without fear, and expects the miraculous. Chosen one, know this: the overflow you are stepping into is tied to legacy, not just fleeting moments. Provision is becoming a system, not an event. The old rules of struggle, striving, and scarcity no longer apply to you. Spiritual reserves are being established that do not run out. Grace and favor are being deposited that cannot be copied, stolen, or reversed. Your identity as God's chosen carries permanence. This is not temporary relief or a partial blessing. It is the foundation for a lifetime of impact. What you touch, what you create, and the lives you influence are all being sustained by the same eternal source. You are being positioned to leave a mark that transcends circumstance, era, or human limitation. Abundance is no longer episodic. It is intrinsic. The way you are funded now ensures continuity, growth, and legacy that endures beyond your immediate perception. Finally, chosen one, hear this clearly. The shift in your life is permanent. The provision is not passing, it is staying. God is funding your entire vision, not fragments, not pieces, not moments of relief. You have outgrown the smallness of striving, worry, and self-effort. The weight of proving, forcing, and scraping is lifted. You are fully, wholly, and permanently backed by heaven. Every step you take from this point forward is supported. Every plan is funded, every assignment honored. Nothing can reverse it. Nothing can obstruct it. God is not merely blessing you. He is orchestrating a full release of supernatural provision that aligns with your purpose, expands your influence, and establishes your legacy. The days of scarcity, doubt, and struggle are behind you. The season of abundance, alignment, and unshakable confidence has arrived. This is your divine inheritance. This is your time. Your destiny is fully funded. You are chosen, equipped, and empowered. And now, you step forward with peace, clarity, and unwavering trust. God is funding your life, now and forever.